Cheers to adulting.
The following podcast contains information obtained through the internet. The hosts are not medical professionals and are likely drunk. Viewer discretion is advised.
Cheers to adulting. Ding!
Just in case, y'all, we had it, gotta have a little backup.
We work and things and stuff, so shit falls through the cracks.
You know what? I wonder how many people actually noticed that we didn't have
I didn't.
I didn't either. And I'm pretty sure we all would have been blissfully ignorant if a certain cameraman, I'm not naming any Pats here or anything, didn't bring it to our attention.
He had to point it out to us. I was like, I didn't even realize. I legit listened and it didn't even face me.
Hey, it's all good. You know what? It's just the content was just that good.
So gripping.
Right? You don't even care about whether or not you're hearing that intro of a whopping 0.5 seconds. Right? It's still wonderful.
Mm-hmm. So today, someone's trying to call me on Google Hangouts. Hashtag not sponsored. So we are drinking today a rose gin and tonic with muddled blackberry. Because the strawberries I had were no good. So, oh well. Potato.
Sometimes you improvise. You have backups,
It's pretty good.
I'm enjoying it.
I'm all right.
I'm enjoying the muddling of the blackberry.
I would have been okay to not have the blackberries.
Yeah, I mean, seeds are a little rough when it comes to blackberries.
Yeah. It also called for edible dried rose petals.
All right, well, okay, you started saying edible, and I'm like, where are we going with this drink? All right, edible rose petals. That's fascinating.
That's pretty good.
I'll take it.
It's pretty good.
It'll get you drunk.
I'm feeling it. I think because I'm so hungry. So
there we. Hey.
Hey.
Alcohol on an empty stomach. What could possibly go wrong?
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about what adulting we've done.
Yes.
For the week, for the month, for the
year.
Clap. Obviously we're doing a lot of adulting because our episodes are sporadic.
Yep.
Our schedules are insane in the summer.
Yeah,
so.
And honestly, in the winter. I was actually talking with my husband on the way here, trying to figure out our weekends between now and Thanksgiving, and basically my husband...
Jesus fucking Christ.
I know, right? And basically my husband just went, we are too fucking busy. Yep, we're too fucking busy.
Yeah. Michael's like, can people stop having weddings? Just stop.
Right?
No offense, Pat. But I mean can everyone stop getting married in the fall at the same time?
Right.
Granted, I also want to get married in the fall because it's just such a beautiful time.
It's the one season New England doesn't fuck up.
But it's wedding season.
It is. And honestly, don't get me... I mean, I got married in June, but if I could do it all over again, I would get married in September because that is a fucking perfect month.
It's gorgeous. So we went to a wedding. Well, we've been to a lot of weddings recently. We went to a wedding this past weekend, and it was so gorgeous driving out to Western Mass. Oh, so congratulations to Shannon McFarland and her husband Matthew, whose last name I forgot.
Mazel tov, Mr. Last name I forgot.
Well, he's not on Facebook, so his last name.
Does he even exist then?
Hunt. I think that's the last name.
Say Hunt one more time.
Hunt. But Shannon was a guest on one of our previous episodes on budgeting. So congratulations. They had a beautiful wedding. It was very intimate, which was super nice. It made me feel very special. And it was just had very fall vibes. And I was fucking there for it.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm exhausted with weddings. Sorry, I cut you off. I realized because I went on
it's all good.
A rant of there's not enough time for anything.
There really isn't enough time. I mean, if you would like, you can segue into all your lovely adulting stuff, navigating weddings and life.
Yeah. So there's just one wedding after another. So this past weekend we went to a wedding. The weekend before that we went to a wedding. In August we went to a wedding. this weekend, as I told Michael, this weekend we have off, quote unquote. Michael's still TBD on whether he's going or not. We have a baby shower / gender reveal on Saturday.
At least they're combining the two. I know some people who don't, so.
Yeah, so she's like due the beginning of November. So they don't know what it is, and she really wants to. She's told me since she was pregnant, she really wanted to do a hella extra like gender reveal. They're doing fireworks. They got a fireworks guy.
God bless.
Yeah. So,
and this is New Hampshire, right? This is happening.
Yes, in New Hampshire.
This is the most New Hampshire thing
God
to ever
bless
New Hampshire,
New Hampshire.
right? Live free or die,
Yeah.
and set your shit on fire.
Exactly. So I think it'll probably be a very unorthodox baby shower, which will be interesting and fun and make it less like a hassle of going to a baby shower.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah. And then Sunday I have to work, and I also have to do a sisterhood meeting. And then the next weekend we have, what is it? Another wedding.
Of course.
Yeah. And then we get a break in November, and then in December we have another wedding.
Of course.
Yeah.
Gotta get them winter weddings in, kid.
And fucking high holidays right now. So I have no time for anything. Yeah.
Because that is the adulting world.
It is the adulting world. So, and fortunately, my schedule just recently went from 52 hours a week, random days of the week. So I never had like a full weekend. And now I'm working minimum 32 hours a week, Monday through Friday. So now I have weeknights.
That's nice.
Which I fill with everything. So
Literally
last
everything.
night we did a Rosh Hashanah, like drinks and dinner. Tonight we're podcasting. Tomorrow I'm going to socialize.
Bada
Thursday I'm going to go work at the gym for the first time in several months.
Nice.
Friday I'm going to go help baby shower Veronica, like prepare her house. Saturday's the baby shower. It's just, yeah.
Welcome to adulting. You have no free time. You are scheduled from now until literally fucking forever.
That's what it feels like. And then I have clients that I clean for trying to schedule in, and I'm like, weeknight? And
Can I come in at like 2 a.m. while you're asleep?
And I feel bad because the upstairs is trying to schedule at the same time as the downstairs. But upstairs usually wants 4 hours. Downstairs wants generally like 2 hours. So it's like, preferably it should be a weekend. In the summer, I could do a weekday. So it's tricky.
Yeah.
How about you?
So I would, you know what? I'm feeling the pressure. I'm feeling the tight calendar, and one of those things that kind of added to the stress and ended up being a holy fucking shit show was my husband's 20-year high school reunion. So my husband...
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this yet. I told you not to tell me.
Yeah, I told... Save it for the
real
podcast,
time.
right? So this real talk, everybody. There are times that we'll be chatting and we're like, we're gonna save that for the podcast. And this is one of those things. Save the shit show for the podcast. This is some authentic shit up in this bitch. So Isaac, who is 38, he's old as fuck, and it's all good. He's only 5 years older than me, so in 5 years I'm gonna be old as fuck. It's all good. And he had his 20-year high school reunion, which is in Ohio. That's where he grew up. Which is not exactly easy to get to. You gotta fly, you gotta get a rental car. It's kind of a pain in the ass. And I knew from the get-go that this was going to be a dumpster fire. How did I know this? Because the guy, so nobody who was like, class president or anything like, the people who are usually in charge of making the reunion happen.
Are the people that can't let high school go.
Yeah, they're the same people who can't let it go. But they were the ones who dropped the ball and didn't do any planning. So around...
My 10-year... Sorry, not to interrupt you, but
Yes.
to interrupt you. My 10-year high school reunion, which obviously I didn't go to because, I'm not flying down to Texas for a 10-year reunion.
Right? Peace out.
Plus, it was, at a bar or
it's not even at the school.
And I was
Come
like,
on.
Hard pass.
Yeah. No, is that it?
Yeah, but it was, it was so I got a Facebook invite to it.
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
like, Nah, I'm good.
Hard pass, which actually fits into this dumpster fire situation. So,
Living for it.
one of Isaac's friends around June was like, we're not having a 20-year. Nobody's planning it. You know what? I'm going to plan it. And immediately I'm like, oh boy, because this guy, I've met him a couple times. He's a wonderful person. He's actually very artistic, very brilliant mind. But as you can imagine, a very artistic, brilliant mind, maybe you don't want them relying on them for making plans. You know what I mean?
Maybe with the decorating and
Yeah,
ideas, but not the delivering of it.
Exactly. I don't want you to be the coordinator in this bitch. How about that?
Yeah.
And so, unbeknownst to me, because, only the people who went to high school were invited on the Facebook event. First and foremost, he did a Facebook event and invited people that he was friends with from high school onto that event. Problem is, he's only friends with maybe a quarter of the people who went to high school with.
Yeah.
So already it's a small fucking list. And I mean, it was a small graduating class to begin with, but we're talking, 60, 70 people.
Oh, wow.
And tiny. This is tiny little Christian school. And
Christian school? He went to a Christian school?
So you know that movie Saved?
I love that fucking
Saved
movie.
is amazing.
Wait, what's his movie?
His life was like Saved.
So they had like the pastor that was trying to be cool.
Exactly. And the ostracized pregnant girl and everything.
Oh my God. That sounds like my fucking nightmare.
Oh, same here. God, you know what? I usually don't say God bless public school, but God bless public school in that case.
Or God bless like smart homeschooling parents.
Right? Like anything
the
but
small
that.
percentage of them.
Right.
I mean, no offense.
Oh, no,
I plan on homeschooling, but only because, no offense, New Hampshire.
Yeah, your
I've
school
seen-
system fucking sucks.
I've seen the adults that come out of your public system.
Oh, yeah.
I
No,
don't know.
It's all, and honestly, I have a friend, she has 4 kids that she homeschools, and they're the most amazing kids ever. They're super smart, on the ball, social, wonderful. They are not like from, Mean Girls where, and then on the 4th day, God made the remnant so we could shoot the dinosaurs and the homosexuals. Amen.
And one of the families that I clean for, they homeschool, but also the mom who homeschools has like her PhD.
Okay. So she's prepped to do that job.
Also, I felt really dumb talking to her children who are under 10.
Oh.
Because they were talking about a game that they play on their app where they create their own game and they have to do coding. And they're explaining it to me and I was like, I feel stupid, so.
Great. Have fun being the next Bill Gates. I'm going to go over here and kick up the wall.
You realize I'm cleaning your house, right? So, I also have a degree, but not in that
engineering
area.
and coding and
Anthropology, all right? It's a fucking joke.
Hey, honestly, if we were smarter, maybe we wouldn't have gone to school for liberal arts. I'm just going to put that one out there.
True.
But anyway, so I'm already like, okay, this is going to be a shit show. But my husband's like, you know what? At least I'm going to see my friends.
Yeah.
They've been really close friends, and at least it will be a chance to see them. And he's hoping to see a few other people from the area too. So we get to the venue, which is just a restaurant, which I'm already like, okay. And we get there about, 15, 20 minutes late, fashionably late. Nobody's fucking there.
Oh, no.
So we pull up the Facebook event, and Isaac hasn't been really paying attention because he's really not on Facebook. He just basically said, oh yeah, I'll be there, and book the tickets. 14 people said they were gonna go. 14 whole people. And so we hang out for a moment, and then we're like, we're just gonna walk around, and we're like, as we're walking the perimeter of the parking lot, which is really the only place you can go because it's fucking Midtown, Ohio. Where are you gonna fucking go? And we're just like, okay, well, do we want to wait? Do we want to just go back and just have dinner with your parents? And then eventually, Facebook dings, and it's the coordinator. And it's like, all right, let's see. What's he going to say? For some reason, he's in LA, and he's not going to get back to Ohio until tomorrow.
Okay.
Right? And no, mind you, he lives in Ohio. So it's not like he lives in LA and just couldn't get a flight back. He lives in Ohio, flew out to LA, and then somehow just couldn't get back on a fucking Saturday. So we're like, all right, he's not even going to be here. But thankfully, some people showed up, and I think there was 7 people total. That is
Out of the 14.
So now here's the kicker. That's including me and Isaac. I didn't go to it.
Oh, yeah.
There was another spouse who didn't go, and a third spouse who was technically a member of that school, but a different year. So 4 people from high school reunited, and it basically was just a dinner. Like, we hung out, we got drinks, we had dinner, we went home, and we were like, okay, well, maybe we can do something on Christmas time because we're all going to be here at Christmas anyways. And all the people except for us lived literally down the road. So for them, it was like, oh, I guess I'm going to go here tonight, you know, as opposed to us where we fucking bought tickets, bought a rental car, used up one of our few free fucking weekends.
Oh, no.
And as you can imagine, both of us were like really miffed about this.
Yeah,
We're
and
like,
I texted you because I forgot, because I was like, texting
Hey,
you
you're
for
like-
to be like, want to come over?
I know.
You probably knew it. I was like, oh, damn.
It was. I was like, oh, she's like, what are you doing Thursday night? I was like, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, shit, flying. That's what I'm doing. It's like, I could have been at Ashley's place getting drunk and watching Lost.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck? And, you know, but we try to see the positives. We met my sister-in-law's new boyfriend, who
nice.
is a lovely, lovely guy, and they've been dating for almost a year now, so it gives us a chance to finally meet, like, you know, this is a serious relationship. This is starting to, you know, and I know his parents were really happy to see us, and I got to eat some Skyline chili, which is always what I do when I am in Ohio. It is perfection. It is amazing. And
Hopefully my chili will be better.
we're going to find out. I'm sure it is, because it tastes like cinnamon and brown sugar. It's, you know.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
interesting.
It's amazing. It doesn't, it's not really chili, but you put it over like hot dogs. Like, and I kid you not, they have a thing called a 3-way. We're going to pause for that one. They have a thing called a 3-way, and it's basically spaghetti and chili and cheese. I don't know
That
what.
sounds like a very Midwestern Idaho.
It's so Midwestern.
Ohio. I wanted to say Iowa.
Iowa, Idaho, Ohio.
But
you know
they're
what? They're
all
all
the fucking
interchangeable.
same.
Like, there's a little strip of Idaho that has some nice mountains, and that's really fucking it. Everything else is, like, interchangeable. I'm sorry. Sorry, people in Idaho, Iowa, and fucking Ohio.
We
Like,
don't mean to, you know. It's just like Massachusetts, New Hampshire. It's all goddamn same.
Yeah. It's New England. Let's
It's
be
New
real here.
England.
It's different flavors of New England and chowder. That's
Yeah,
it.
chowder.
Chowder kid. So yeah, that was my situation, and I don't think I have a free weekend until December, maybe.
Oh man.
Because but one of them is a nice thing. My Isaac, for my birthday, got me a weekend at a little B&B in Baba, Maine.
Oh, nice.
So we're
For
gonna
you too.
for both of us. Yeah, he's not sending me away or anything
I was
like
gonna
that.
say, take Ashley.
Take me
Nudge,
with you.
nudge.
But no, it's going to be a nice little weekend for the two of us, because we keep talking about how we want to just spend a weekend in Maine, and every year it never happens. And then this year, for my birthday, he's like, here you go. He printed up the little like confirmation page, and I'm like, you're so precious.
What a good man.
He's a good man.
Who's a
I'm
boy.
Who's a good boy? You're a good boy. Anyways, we should
Get
probably
started.
switch over to emergencies, especially personal emergencies.
Yeah. So when you're not, or maybe when you're adulting, or relaxing, or doing literally anything, there comes some tragic, terrifying times where there are emergency situations.
Life happens.
You have a heart attack. Someone has a heart attack. Someone has a seizure. Someone's having a stroke. All of these sort of things. These are pretty big. And you might find yourselves in these situations and you don't know what the fuck to do.
All right.
It's a pretty big adulting thing.
And it's scary. Like,
Or-
you could freeze up. What am I supposed to do here?
An adult, I think it would be beneficial for a child to know, or a teenager. It's just an important thing to know as a human being.
Right? Sometimes adulting doesn't have an age limit. You do not have to be 18 years or older to, say, call the paramedics, you know?
So, first and foremost, disclaimer,
We ain't doctors, kid.
we grabbed our information off the interwebs. From credible sources.
Yeah, so it's not like we're looking at, freedomeagle.net or anything like that. This is like, Mayo Clinic, American Red Cross, American Heart Association.
.orgs.
Yeah, the .orgs of the kids.
Yeah, the .orgs. Yeah, so I have in the past, I think it expired last year, I was first aid, CPR, adult and infant certified through I went through Red Cross.
Yeah. And I am currently certified in those things through the American Red Cross.
Yeah,
What's
so
up, everybody?
If you have the cash to throw, it's like $45, which it's not expensive, it's not cheap, but
it's worth it.
It's worth it at least to do it once. You'll have the knowledge. Maybe you don't need the credentials for a job. You could maybe update it every 4 years just to stay, up to date on your information and just to remember what to do in these sort of situations.
And the nice thing, especially with the American Heart Association, if you are already certified, you can then do most of the stuff online and then just come in for like an in-person, like hour or two thing, which is what I did for my most recent re-upping of my certification. And it's nice. It's good to get that information because it does go stale. It might seem like super redundant and super like, oh my God, yeah, tell me again, I have to like call the paramedics and check for a pulse, blah. But it actually really helps. I will get into that a little bit when I talk about mindset and staying calm, but spoiler alert, if you have that so drilled into your mind that it's almost muscle memory, if you are in a panic state and your higher functioning went out the fucking window, you're still going to be able to act properly.
So, on that note, I guess I'll start.
You start?
I'm going to start talking about stroke. So, something I always think about House, the show House. There is an episode on there where there's this famous actress, I forget her name, but she often plays lesbians. Super sexy.
Olivia Wilde?
No. Because it was a patient.
Oh, yes. Okay.
She was on the L Word. She was on House. She was just a lot of things. She's great actress. But she's like pregnant in the episode. She has a stroke. And I don't remember how, but she starts saying the acronym that is good to know for recognizing the signs of someone having a stroke. And she says, FAST. She said, because she's talking weird, and so she says face and all these other things. So apparently I found from this site, it was like a health center named, it was like Beaumont Health or something like that. And they said that the acronym should be updated because it should move from fast to faster. So F stands for face, which refers to when you're having a stroke, your face droops, or you might have numbness on one side of the face other than the other. So you ask the person who you might think that they're having a stroke to smile. So if it's apparent that their smile is crooked and not, a proper smile, they might be having a stroke. A stands for arms, which refers to one arm being weaker or more numb than the other. So you ask the individual to raise both arms up and hold them for a count of 10. If one arm falls or begins to drop, then this could be a sign of stroke. S, which stands for stability, which in the old acronym of FAST, it meant for speech. So S stands now for stability, which refers to steadiness on your feet. Sometimes individuals will fall, feel very dizzy, or be unable to stand without assistance. Difficulty maintaining balance, trouble walking, or loss of coordination are all possible stroke symptoms. T now stands for talking, which refers to changes in speech, including slurring, garbled, nonsensical words, or the
Inability?
I'm not having a stroke, I swear. Or the inability to respond appropriately. Individuals experiencing a stroke may be difficult to understand, or they may have difficulty understanding others. Ask the person to repeat a simple sentence like, the sky is blue. So they, something with someone's having a stroke, they might sort of interchange words, or they can't use the word that they mean to say because their brain is in duress and is not able to work properly, so they can't talk properly. E stands for eyes, which refers to visual changes. These visual changes occur suddenly and can include complete vision loss in one eye, double vision, and partial loss of vision in one or both eyes. R stands for react, which is a reminder to call 911. Immediately, if you recognize any of these symptoms, call even if the symptoms go away and try to remember when they first began. The acronym FAST, facial drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulties, and time, has been used by the National Stroke Association, American Heart Association, and others to educate the public on detecting symptoms of a stroke. It was first introduced in the United Kingdom in 1998, which for us right now is just like, oh, that was like, not too long ago. But that was like
21 years.
Yeah, 21 years ago.
Let me just take a moment and bask in my own mortality for a moment. Thank you. 1998 was 21 fucking years ago. Jesus Christ.
I know.
Okay, I'm good. We can resume.
So stroke experts at Beaumont Health, which is where I pulled this from, created the updated acronym of FASTER, which adds 2 additional but key stroke symptom indicators, which I thought was super important. People don't think about eyes. They don't think about stability. So those are good things to also, more indicators, more symptoms for you to look out for. Identifying and reacting to stroke symptoms quickly is crucial to achieving proper treatment for an individual experiencing a stroke. Acute stroke treatments are time dependent after stroke occurs. This is why it is so important to recognize them and act faster by calling 911 immediately. So
There we go.
Stroke can happen, unfortunately, at a lot of different ages. You can have mini strokes. You might have a stroke and not even know.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have a stroke when you're asleep.
Exactly.
So
You could be super physically fit and still have a stroke. It's an equal opportunity killer. So
I heard a story from a friend of mine who she was on a video call with her rabbi, and he was sounding really weird. He wasn't making any sense with what he was saying, and she thought he might be having a stroke. And so he abruptly hung up. Then she called his wife, and then she talked to her parents, and they called and convinced him to go to the hospital. It turned out he had a tumor, but it's
still,
just like you never know. You just,
if something's up, see something, say something. You know what I mean?
or as my mother, we're gonna play a audio recording from her a little bit later. She says, when in doubt, check it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's strokes.
That's strokes, folks. And we'll
That's all stroke, folks.
That's all.
Oh man, we could have done that at the end.
Damn it. We'll still do it.
Yeah.
You kidding me? That's gold. And we'll
Pat hates us so much right now. And it's
awesome.
awesome.
I bask in the punitude. So we can go from strokes to seizures if that works for us. So first and foremost, let's just address the biggest myth that a lot of us have heard when it comes to seizures. Do not put a spoon in the person's mouth. For fuck's sake. Don't put anything in their mouth. I get it. You're worried. You think they're going to, swallow their tongue or something like that. You're actually going to do a lot of damage. They're going to swallow their own tongue during a seizure. So you got to put something in there to keep the tongue down. It's a myth. And you're actually going to do a lot of damage. You could actually damage their teeth because the jaw locks up when you're, especially if you're doing a grand mal seizure. Now, they might bite their tongue, and that really sucks. They might even bite their tongue clear off, or at least the tip of it, depending. Because again, the jaw can lock up, but it's still. It's better. You're not swallowing your tongue. So please, for the love of God, if somebody is having a grand mal seizure and that's when the convulsions are happening, please don't do that. Likewise, please do not try to restrain them in any ways. Like some people think, oh, they're thrashing, they're going to hurt themselves. Please don't do that. Don't try to hold them down. Don't try to restrain them. What you can do first and foremost, and it seems a little counterintuitive, but if you can check the time, find out what time it is, because this is actually going to be the difference between you ride it out and you help them afterwards and you call the paramedics, which actually I'll just jump right into it. Usually when we hear about like, what do you do if somebody has blank? Step one is call 911, like across the board. If they're having a heart attack, if you think they're having a stroke, if you think if they're choking, if they've gone unconscious, first step, call 911. Seizures is actually one of the few cases where you don't have to call 911. The only time the only times where it makes sense to call 911, one, if it lasts more than 5 minutes, if this person has never had a seizure before, like they don't have epilepsy and then all of a sudden they just drop to the ground, call 911. If the person has difficulty breathing or waking up after the seizure, call 911. If the person has another seizure right after the first one, call 911. Likewise, if the seizure happens in water, you don't know if they've aspirated any water. If the person gets hurt during the seizure, you want to have somebody, maybe a paramedic comes in and checks for a head injury or something like that. And then likewise, if they have a health condition like diabetes, heart disease, or if they're pregnant, that's when you call 911. Otherwise, you might just be able to wait it out. So it might be weird to like, oh, they're having a seizure and it is 9:55. All right. It's going to seem a little weird, but you want to be able to at least have some idea of how long the seizure is going on. Another thing you want to do is you want to clear the area because they are convulsing. You want to move things out to the side. If they're going to, bang into something, if there's something sharp nearby, you want to move it out of the way. If possible, put something soft under their head, like a folded jacket, or if you're surrounded by like blankets and pillows, maybe a light pillow, and then you ride it out. And I know that sounds really weird to be like, okay, they're having a seizure, I'm just going to stand around, but there is literally nothing you can do until it has been finished. Or dill. There's nothing you can dill, buddy.
Or basil.
Or you know what? Or some rosemary. Why not? Let's spice this bitch up. So yeah, there's nothing you can dill/do/rosemary until it is over. And once it is over, you can help them sit up. You can explain to them calmly what happened because they are probably disoriented as fuck. Even if they have epilepsy, even if they're used to having grand mal seizures, it's okay. Like they're gonna kind of freak out a little bit probably. And some things to avoid: don't try to have them immediately stand up. Don't try to give them food or water, which I know that was actually one of the ones when I researched. I was like, really? Because my first thought, especially with things like fainting, you give them some sugar, you give them like a soda. You don't actually want to give them anything. You just want to let them hang tight. And so I keep saying grand mal seizures, and there's a reason for that because seizures come in all shapes and sizes. Some people's seizures could look as simple as like an eye twitch, and it runs the whole gamut. It really is basic, in stupid layman terms. So it's not even just layman's terms, but stupid layman's terms. It is
talking my language,
right? The brain is just misfiring and now it's firing pretty crazily. And it's the same deal there where you just kind of ride it out. If they stop talking and they're kind of twitching and they have like epilepsy or something like that, you ride it out. Maybe you let them know, hey, you just had a seizure. I don't know if you were aware of that. If it gets a little crazy, or if, say, it slides into maybe more of a stroke situation where like the face is asymmetrical, the talking is weird, they don't have epilepsy, so what's going on? That's when, hey, call 911, everybody. But yeah, that's seizure, folks. It doesn't work as well as strokes.
Yeah, so I have 2 experiences with seizures. So the first experience I had with someone having a seizure, I was at UTSA, University of Texas, San Antonio. I had been accepted. I was at orientation. Spoiler alert, didn't go there because I didn't have the money at the time. And so I was at orientation. I was sitting next to a girl, never met before. And they were going over things with all of us. We were like in a cafeteria situation, I'm not sure. And all of a sudden, I can't remember because I don't remember if she was in her chair and fell or was going to fall and I caught her. And I realized, like, it's very apparent when someone's having, like, a full-on fucking seizure.
Yeah.
So I kind of, like, gently guided her to the ground or something. And other people, like, came around, like, whatever coordinators or what have you. Mm-hmm. And it was just kind of all of a blur. And then the next thing I knew, the paramedics were there, or maybe the on-site health people, and them asking, like, have you had a seizure before? And, you know, she was disoriented, but she was like, no. How horrifying.
Right.
But I just remember, like, just kind of, like, trying to keep her in one location and trying to keep her still. And, oh, God. The even more horrifying experience with the seizure. So my older cat, Floof, used to have seizures.
Oh, no.
It was something that started when me and my ex-boyfriend moved in with his parents so he could save money to buy a house or a condo or whatever. And we were in the basement, which was a finished basement. And I remember waking up at the middle of the night and she was having a seizure. And I was like, it didn't quite register, because it was almost like when a dog is asleep and is having a dream that they're running.
No kick, yeah.
So I kind of like picked her up and put her like standing, and she obviously like ran into the wall and then like fell, and I was like, oh fuck. It was the most devastating thing to see in the world.
Oh my God.
And I saw her have a seizure like a couple times after that. And we had her on seizure medication.
Wow.
And then I moved, and eventually I was like, well, she's not having seizures anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, she was on seizure medication,
But still.
but I took her off it, and she never had a seizure ever again. So I don't know if seizures can be stress-induced or something.
Or environmental, like something was airborne that was causing
Yeah.
her brain to misfire.
So,
Like,
yeah,
that is... I have a friend who actually, her cat has developed issues with seizures as well. And I'm going to have to like really look
She's
into
never
that.
had seizures ever again. Also, fun fact, seizure medication, and I think, you know, just like a medication for animals can sometimes be medication that is for humans as well. Obviously in much smaller doses.
Oh, yeah.
And on the medicine bottle for Floof, it said, do not consume grapefruit. Because grapefruit is this weird food that counteracts medication. Or certain medications. Like it makes it
Fascinating.
inactive. So this seizure medication you could not consume. And obviously I'm not
Like,
giving
yeah.
grapefruit to my cat.
Damn it, there goes my snack that I'm going to have with my cat. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's very weird. Just like St. John's wort tea or pills.
Because
or
that's
whatever.
what I'm putting a little saucer of tea for my
Yeah.
cat.
So
Yeah.
I'm just St. John's wort. If you're on birth control, like oral contraceptives, you can't take St. John's wort because it'll counteract it and make it
Fascinating.
inactive.
I knew that about antibiotics. I didn't know that about St. John's wort.
Yeah.
Still, I'm not going to put a saucer of tea for my cat, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I haven't been on the oral contraceptive in a long time, but I'm going to keep that in mind in case I ever switch back.
Yeah. God bless my IUD.
Right? Amen to that. That Gandalf staff, man, you shall not
Gandalf
pass.
staff, you shall not pass.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So actually, I know you just talked,
Do we want to chat about that heart attack?
but I would love for you to, let's just segue back to
Yeah.
you again on heart attacks. And
All right.
I guess, do you want to do it before or?
Yeah. Well, you know what we can do? I can chat about my thing, and then we'll have hers, and we'll see
right.
how much it contradicts me. All right. So we're going to go from our seizures to our heart attacks, which, again, it can be really scary to see either somebody drop from a heart attack or something like that, right? But it's also important to know that sometimes the signs and symptoms of a heart attack are a little more subtle than that. And it's important to understand that symptoms look different on men and women. And this is a relatively new discovery because unfortunately the science world was kind of skewed more towards men. So all the symptoms we knew were the symptoms that happened for men and they weren't for women. So well, I'll talk about the men first and foremost. For first, everybody. It's not like we've been drinking a lot on an empty stomach or anything. Wee. I'm drunk. Wee. Which is, you know what, this is a complete digression. I'm going to just add this in like 30-second what's up. I had a friend who whenever she got high, she would text me and be like, I'm high. Wee. And it was like, it would bring such joy into my life.
The next time I'm stoned, I'm going to have to text you that.
Right? Like I don't smoke at all. Like no, and like no edibles, no nothing. Partly for work, partly because drug testing, all that lovely stuff. Yeah. But I love the fact that when my friend got high, she would text me, I'm high. Whee! Like it's a pure joy. Anyways, so let's talk about the men first. For men, pressure, tightness, pain, or a squeezing or aching sensation in the chest, that arm or in the arms, that tingling sensation down the arm, usually I think it's the left arm, but it could be either arm. It could also be spread to your neck, your jaw, or your back. There could be nausea, there indigestion, heartburn, abdominal pain, shortness of breath, cold sweat.
Just everything.
All the fucking
things. You could think
things.
you have the flu.
Right, you could think you have the flu.
Indigestion.
But for men, it's usually compounded with that tightness in the chest. Women, on the other hand, that tightness in the chest very rarely happens. It's usually actually without that chest pain. It can happen. Don't get me wrong. That's still a symptom from women as well. But it could be things like discomfort in the jaw, a stomach ache. It can be extreme fatigue, sleep disturbances, sweating, breaking out in a cold sweat, nausea. Basically, it can be almost fucking anything. It's a little scary, especially for us women, where we could be like, and one of the things can be even just irritability. All of a sudden, like everything bothers you. That's kind of fucking, like, especially.
Someone be like, is that time of the month? No, I'm
having a heart attack. Like that is no good for a hypochondriac like me who will get like a super horrible like headache on like one side of my hemisphere and be like, it's an aneurysm. I'm gonna go. This is my way to go.
Stroke.
Right? I'm having a stroke. Faster, damn it.
Faster, yes.
And by that I don't mean like figure out the warning signs and call 911. I mean just get it over with.
Yeah.
Oh, that was dark. Anyway, so it can be really challenging, but if you know the person is having a heart attack, or if you suspect it, when in doubt,
check it out.
Yeah, when in doubt, check it out, which we'll get into in a little bit.
Yeah.
We already did, I think. Anyways,
we'll
get back to it yet again. Anyway, when in doubt, check it out. When in doubt, assume the worst, which me in my anxious state is like, yes, please. When in doubt, assume the worst. So anyways, what to do? First and foremost, call 911. Again, when in doubt, call 911. And everything, especially if you ever take a first aid course or CPR course, everything you learn about, step one, call 911. That's basically going to be what you need to do. And you need to stay on the line, calmly let them know where you are, calmly let them know what's happening, and stay on the line. That dispatcher is going to be able to stay with you. They're going to give you advice. They're going to be able to walk you through things if you're not really sure what to do. And again, they're going to get the fucking paramedics there and they're going to be able to help do some shit. So another thing we can do is ease strain on the heart. One way we can do that is have them chew aspirin or swallow aspirin.
Yeah.
So aspirin is a blood thinner. That's going to just help everything move a little bit faster, especially if there's any, again, weird kind of clogs going on. And the chewing is because it's going to absorb into the bloodstream faster. Another thing you can do is have them essentially in a half-seated position, so basically they're kind of reclined back. They're not fully laying down. They're not fully seated upright. They're propped up with, pillows, what have you. They have their knees bent. Apparently that helps the strain on the heart. Loosen clothing at the neck, the chest, and the waist. And then you just keep an eye on them. them. If they go unconscious, that is when you start CPR. And again, this is where CPR certification is super useful. If you don't have CPR certification, but you can watch, YouTube videos and you have a good idea of what you're doing, something is better than nothing. Ideally, you're watching something good. Ideally, you're not getting misinformation. If you need it, one of the things you want to do is you want to think hard. You basically want to put all your weight into that chest compression. Chest compressions matter more than the breaths. So if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't want to put your mouth on somebody else's mouth, just keep at it with the compressions.
And remember,
staying alive. Yes.
Fijis.
Exactly. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Which has two benefits. One, it tells you the beat that you want to be doing the chest compressions. It's about the exact same beat as staying alive. And then you also have a fucking song in your head, which, trust me on this one, if you have ever done chest compressions, even if it's on one of those dummies, it's a lot of work. It's exhausting. It's tiring. If you have something to keep you going, like the same way you listen to music when you're running, fucking have it, because it's exhausting to do chest compressions.
Like, you have to go harder than you actually think, so much so that sometimes
you will break some ribs.
Yeah, unfortunately, you might break some ribs. But better to break someone's ribs than to have them die.
Exactly. Actually, the last time I did my CPR certification, I was not pressing hard enough. And the dummy was actually really cool. They had little sensors and they let you know if you were pressing the right amount, not enough, or too hard. And I kept pressing not enough. And the nice thing is you don't fail. They just have you keep at it until you get it right. And it was really weird to think, like, I'm putting a lot of weight into this and it's still not enough. So whatever you think it is, trust me on this one, you want to do more.
Yeah.
And again, when in doubt, check it out. If you think they're having a heart attack, call 911. I know, American healthcare system is fucked. It sucks to have to pay that amount.
My mother makes a comment about this.
All right. Actually, I think that's a great segue. Let's move over to the wonderful video that she did for us to talk about heart attacks.
So my mother, unfortunately, has had heart attacks in her 20s.
Oof.
And so it's just, it makes me very, very paranoid and self-aware about heart health for myself. So her sister died from a heart attack. Her father died from a heart attack.
Oh boy.
So anytime I have any sort of thing, I go to the doctor. So from there, I'm going to put volume up and we're going to listen to my mom.
All right.
Okay, so what I was trying to tell you is the first time that I thought that I was having a heart attack, I was approximately 23. And
23.
I went to my doctor. This is after.
I think she was 24 because I was born when she was 23. So maybe...
Still though, early 20s. Holy shit.
Yeah, so maybe I was born, I was an infant. Anyway, pause.
After the whole episode was over with, I went and complained to him, and he convinced me that I was too young to be having a heart attack because I was only in my 20s, and that
I rolled.
on top of that I was a female,
right?
So that was very rare.
Big eye roll.
And he had eventually convinced me that it was just panic attacks. So I thought, okay, I don't know why I would be panicked because I'm not that type of person. I'm like a duck. Everything just kind of rolls off my back. It doesn't.
I've never heard that before.
Most things don't bother me.
I was thinking
but
just keep swimming.
I figured, I guess he's the doctor. He knows. So then later on, unfortunately, at the age of 26, my sister passed away. It took my sister's passing. My sister passed away from heart failure. There was no autopsy done, but it was confirmed that it was heart failure. So it took that for the doctors to give credence to my complaints, and so it was one evening, Saturday evening, after my husband and I had a fun evening at home. And
Hey, they love hard. We
you
talked
don't want
about
to
that
hear
before.
this, Ashley. But so we were getting ready for bed, and after various activities,
bless your
he
mom,
went to
God
bed, and he went to the bathroom, and I was laying in bed, and my heart rate, which was elevated, which was, to be expected after everything.
Love your mom.
And
Oh my goodness.
but it was different than just the normal heart racing. This time, my chest was killing me. It hurt really bad. My heart was racing, and I had a stabbing pain from the front of my chest to all the way to the back, and I had a pressure. It felt like the best I could describe was, it felt like an elephant sitting on my chest stabbing me with a knife at the same time.
Oh boy.
And so when my husband comes out of the bathroom, he sees me in bed trying to take deep breaths and just trying to relax, but he could tell that I was in a lot of pain, and he asked me what was wrong. Fortunately, we had a blood pressure cuff. He took my blood pressure, and it was through the roof. My heart rate kept reading error because it was so high, and I usually have pretty my blood pressure, my pulse rate is usually pretty standard, pretty low, about 65 beats per minute, about average. And this time it was super high. So he called my doctor, and of course, since my sister had passed away, now all of a sudden he's like, well, maybe we should look into it. So long story short, they took me to the hospital. My heart was in defib, and which it was beating so fast. It was beating over 200 beats per minute.
Oh my God.
That my blood wasn't being oxygenated. I was, lightheaded, passing out because I wasn't getting any oxygen. When they drew the vials of blood, which they always do when you go into the hospital, in the emergency room, I mean, my instead of being a reddish black, it was more on the pinkish side because of the lack of oxygen. So after that, it took all of that, my sister passing away, and me having that episode, for them to finally realize that, wait a minute, maybe a young woman can have heart problems. Eventually I went through many different treatments and many different doctors, and it wasn't until
at one point.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I was in my 40s. Yes, I was in my 40s, and I went to the hospital. I was having another episode, a tachycardic episode, where they were able to get a strip, and I was found out that I had an extra AV node. That's where the current of the heart starts. So I was born with two of them, which was causing my heart to go into defib, and so it wasn't beating correctly. That's why I wasn't getting the oxygen. But if you're in doubt, the best thing to do is check it out. I know that's cheesy as hell, but it's true. And with that story, I have another leads into my husband. My current husband, he was complaining. I was out shopping, and he was complaining to me that he thought he was having a heart attack. His chest was killing him, was hurting, and he said that
and from her.
I asked him, well,
Thanks, Mom.
because I was very familiar with all the signs of a heart attack and everything, since I had several in the past, I told him, so does it hurt when you walk? Does the pain get worse, or does it get better? Does it stay the same? He's like, well, it doesn't get any worse. I kind of feel a little bit better or close to the same. So in my mind, I thought, he's not having a heart attack. But then on the little angel on the other shoulder says, how would you feel if he was and you ignored it and he died? So I thought, you know what, the hell with it. We got insurance, let's go to the hospital. So I rush across town, go pick him up, still not convinced that he's having a heart attack. Take him to the CVS, check his blood pressure, and it's a little elevated, which is standard when you have when you're scared or you have any pain. Your blood pressure is going to get a little elevated. So I thought, you know what, let's just continue on. Let's just go ahead and go to the hospital. So we go to the hospital. They do the normal protocol. They run all the tests. He was complaining about all of a sudden the pain was going up into his neck, which is, kind of one of the telltale signs.
You were
so
saying
I
about
thought,
the
you know what? Let's see what's going on. So we rushed to the hospital. Well, then afterwards, part of the story that comes out is the fact that he was,
I'm gonna fast. I listened to this a bit. Long story short, it was gas. It was gas.
Oh,
I'm gonna
my
fast
word.
forward a bit because she says,
the doctor says the best thing always, 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 if you're in doubt, come check it out,
There you go.
because so many people have died without, because they didn't go in and get things checked out. So do not hesitate to go check out. I don't care how much money it's going to cost you. I don't care if you have insurance, if you don't have insurance. Your life is more important and more valuable than any stupid hospital bill.
Boom.
So when in doubt, check it out.
Yes.
"Thanks, mommy."
Right.
And it's funny because one of my coworkers, she thinks it's so weird. It's a culture. I try to explain it to her. It's a cultural thing. The fact that I call my mother mommy.
Why not? I think it's really cute and endearing.
My dad's passed away, but if he was still alive, I would still call him daddy.
Yeah, honestly, I find myself on the opposite end, but that's also because of how I was raised, and I actually have a very limited relationship with my mom. But I would love to have a relationship that is so close that I could call my mom mommy. Don't get me wrong.
And I realized because I forget what it was, the L word. I recently rebinged it. And the relationship that one of the characters she's half black, half white, and her sister Beth is famous actress who slips my mind. She played Foxy Brown. Super famous black actress, amazing. But both of them, they're half sisters, but they're very close. They call their father daddy.
Why not?
And for me, I was like, it's interesting because anyone else I know, besides Southerners, call their, dad daddy. And it's just the way that, my dad, I was like, daddy's little girl. Yeah. And my sister, one of my sisters, she's technically my half sister, but for me, she's my sister.
Blood is,
Yeah. And
family's family.
When we refer to our father, she'll say, "Oh, I remember when Daddy would do this," or "Daddy," and it's just,
I think that's really sweet and endearing.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm a grown-ass adult, but she's still my mommy.
Right? And again, that diminutive, oh my goodness, I've had way too much to drink.
Or not enough.
Or not enough, one of the two. It's actually really sweet and endearing. Again, I would love to have something that's so close that you could still
Yeah.
I remember being and I don't know why I remember this. I remember being in the 5th grade and mourning the fact that I couldn't call my mom mommy anymore because people would have if I had said mommy in 5th grade, I would have gotten so made fun of. And I remember being so upset about that. I'm like, I want to call my mom mommy. I miss my mommy. It was a thing.
I think that in conversation, I would refer to them as my mom or my dad or whatever. But when talking to them in conversation, when I call my mom and I call my mom right now she's in transition because she's moving from place to place. But like when she's not, I call her almost every night when I'm
that's
going
lovely.
home, or like
Yeah.
every other night or whatever. And she answers, and I'm like, "Hi, mommy," and she's like, "Hi, baby girl."
Like I gotta admit, like I'm super envious of that. That's beautiful. Like again, like me and my mom, we got a very limited relationship.
Yeah.
It's more like the social worker calling in on her client. Like I love my mom, but that's basically the relationship we have. And if I deviate from that, I usually get hurt. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna pretend like I'm the nurse.
Your mommy.
Oh, be my mommy, baby.
Yeah. So yeah, we digress.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my mom's experience on heart attacks, and my
Oh, my
stepdad's
goodness.
unfortunate.
That is beautiful.
Although it's not like I don't remember what show she was on. It might have been Jimmy Kimmel or no, I think it was Jimmy Fallon.
It's one of the Jimmys.
Jennifer Lawrence. I don't remember what she was recording, what movie or whatever she was doing. And it was all in the, tabloid, or not tabloid. It was all in the news that she went to the hospital because she was having all of these, similar to my stepfather. And it turned out, and she was so embarrassed. It turned out to be gas.
But again,
But
when in doubt,
the thing is that, as funny, as comical as it is, gas can be terribly uncomfortable.
I've been there where there have been times where, again, like the aneurysm in my brain, it's like, okay, this is the way I go. This is the way I'm going to die.
Go
All
throughout
right.
your whole fucking body yet.
Right? It puts your whole body into shock, essentially. It's some shit.
When in doubt, check it out. Call 911.
Exactly.
If anything, call 911.
Exactly. And again, if you can get CPR certified, if you can get trained in this stuff, and maybe it will even just give you some confidence. So if shit hits the fan, maybe you're not like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do?
Or even like check with whatever you do for a job. It's possible that it might be an option to get certified. I am thinking about contemplating talking to the family that I work for, the gentleman, and seeing if maybe he'll look into getting the staff, the household, pay for us to get certified because it's
He's
super
got the money
important.
for it, first and
You've got the
foremost,
money for it, and his wife has advanced MS. I think it's a pretty crucial thing for us all to have.
Agreed. And a lot of companies will, like either they'll host it on site or they'll reimburse you. Look into that. And again, it will feel really tedious. Like I've been there. I've done so many trainings at this point, and it can be really like, okay.
But they do update it.
Yeah. And on top of that, it's okay for it to be tedious. It's okay for it to be repetitive. You want it so drilled into your brain.
Muscle memory.
Exactly. Because again, like if you are panicked, maybe you're not calling 911. So that's why literally every PowerPoint presentation on the first aid, whatever, is saying, call 911. It sounds ridiculous, but if you're panicking, maybe the first thing you do is fucking, I don't even know what, put a spoon in their mouth.
Utilize Siri, Alexa, whatever on your phone. I'm sure that they have these sort of emergency situations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There we go.
To emergencies.
To emergencies.
Cheers.
And adulting.
To emergency adulting.
I feel like that's my life. Emergency adulting.
Cheers to adulting.